this video, I want to touch on emotional trauma and weight loss. And I can only pair it to weight loss. I've worked with weight loss for 9 years. I did it for my full-time clients, like my full-time with clients, for about 4 years before I got into GI health and kind of switched my gears. But weight loss always usually kind of comes into our society and what majority of people want. But anyways, so something that had a cycle that had came to my attention, I really just want to bring awareness and a conversation with it to all of you, hear your feedback, hear your stories. But for emotional trauma specifically, other trauma, such like a car accident, something that might end you up in a hospital, a miscarriage, a hypothermia, something that is super traumatic like that, that can send you in a different spiral for more of like a gut health and adrenals, that kind of stuff. But from my view of working with clients, the emotional traumas, what I've seen is we're doing great. I coach my clients weekly, and we're getting there, we're going down, the scale's moving, everything's happening, and there comes the plateau. And most of the time with the plateau and weight loss, what the body is doing is really just reconfiguring. And so it's designed to protect you. It's like feedback loops and different signaling to say, okay, if then, and actions to go along with it. So most of the time with the plateau, the body's lost so much and it says, wait a second, this really isn't normal, just wait. And that is a real sweet time at that point. If you continue to do what you were doing, the body's like, okay, we have our nutrients, we have water, we have our muscle mass is good, like everything is checks and balances out for this new normal, great. Everything aligns, you see a flush, you keep moving. This plateau area is also really critical, that if it lasts 1 to 3 weeks, which it can, it depends on how long and what you're doing with your body, but most people get discouraged during this time and they go back to old habits. Like, well, it's not working no more. I hit the plateau. And when you go back to old habits, the body's like, aha, because the body holds memory. I knew this was wrong. I knew this wasn't okay. And it doesn't reconfigure. You go back into your old body storing ways, and the body doesn't reconfigure to keep going into the spiral, switching over to keep losing into a new normal. So if we've gotten to where I feel we're past this point, and this is not what the body is doing, there's something more. And as I mentioned, the body holds memory. So we want to find out what that more is. And in the beginning, I didn't really understand this, but the cycle that I'm about to explain to you. So I'd have clients come in and they'd be very, very emotional, and which is right to be emotional for doing so much work and sometimes not seeing a scale move. Every right to be emotional. But this emotion wasn't for that. It was women coming in saying, I'm well over my divorce. I don't care about my divorce. My husband and I or ex-husband and I are in really good terms, but I can't stop thinking about it and I'm sad. Or for a dad to come in and be like, and share with me, like, I lost a child, or whatever that emotional trauma is, or going through any emotional trauma. I don't have to go over the list of emotional traumas. And as the clients come in and they're saying, I haven't had to deal with this, or this hasn't come up, and I feel like I've been at a good place with this, and so why is it coming up now? So I start to ask, when did you get over this mark of weight loss, is what I'm speaking of. So say we're just going to say 200 pounds, and we can't get under that 200 pound mark. And so it's, when did you go above 200 pounds? And majority of the time, when they sit and think about it, it is when that trauma was happening. When they were working through this trauma is when they surpassed this piece. And if they have not emotionally, consciously worked through this, and what I've gathered is majority of them ate their emotions, and that is how they got through it. And so now they're in a different space trying to get down. But in this section where they ate their feelings, we have to work through that emotional trauma. And whether I'm able to work it through with them during the coaching, maybe we do a Reiki session, or maybe they need to go see their counselor or their therapist. Everyone's different, so however they have to work through that, and whether I'm able to help or not. But that is the only thing that I've been able to see to get my clients under. So the body, water, and we are majority of water, holds memory. Our fat cells, mostly water, holds memory. And so when we're releasing these, and when I do weight loss programs, most of the time we're losing 2 to 4 pounds a week. That is a lot. It's a lot of toxins. It's a lot of emotions. It's a lot of stress on the body, even though it's a good stress. Could be a good stress. Support that liver, make sure all the toxins, the physical stress is being taken out. But it's something to look at. So I have found through years, and this has happened more than 2 handfuls of times, which is why I feel confident making this video and feeling that consistency, to bring that awareness of your emotional trauma and reaching a goal. Especially I can only account for weight loss and getting under. So if you are one that's stuck in that plateau and you're getting super emotional, and these emotions are being ones that you thought were old, 15 years old, 20 years old, things that you've dealt with, things that you don't think about anymore, and now they're coming up and they're in front of your face that you have to deal with again. Deal with them. Find someone to work through it with you. Meditations, mantras, counselors, friends. Find healthy coping skills to move yourself through it. Don't go back to the old habits. This is what the body wants right now. It wants you, at this point, is pivotal. It is pivotal. It wants to know what is the new normal. How are we going to do this? What do I do now? Do I release this? Do I hold this? Am I protecting you? And you have to decide how the body protects you. Is it going to protect you by holding on to this and shoving it deep and saying, oh no, we got to bury it. We got to bury it. We can't handle it. Or now is the time to release and say, no, release it. We got to handle it. It was a long time ago. Maybe I couldn't deal with it then, but I can deal with it right now. And it's okay to get help with that. And it's okay to work through it. And don't feel silly that it was years ago, because we are beings that have a past, and the past directly affects our present, and then our present directly affects our future. So you are in this beautiful moment, even though it feels a little traumatic again, even though it feels a little overwhelming again, even if it feels like you're taking steps backwards at this point. Stay present in this moment. Stay present with your body. Stay present with your emotions. Be that awareness that views it. Don't get caught up in those emotions now. You've already done that. You've already been caught up with the emotions. And you've already worked through them with eating to get us where we are. And now we're working back, and we're in this little section phase where we need to deal with those emotions. Release how we buried it. And so the body can configure. And after that, there's a whole shift in your energy and your empowerment and your body composition. And I have seen this in my own eyes over and over and over again. And not just with my eyes, of course. I mean, I coach weekly and I work through everything with my clients. And so I am so grateful to be one-on-one to see this transformation, but also doing body impedance assessments where I can scientifically see the body composition change from a few weeks. And yeah, a lot of that has to do with the physical work that you do, the planning and prepping the food and the workouts and such. But as we all know, that's not enough. That is not enough to get to where you want to be long term. And for some, it's a lot of weight, it's a lot of pounds, it's a lot of time. And to think other things aren't going to come up, and other emotions aren't going to come up, and other situations aren't going to come up that you have to mentally, emotionally, spiritually work through, isn't realistic. And so be very, very gentle with yourself during this type of plateau, and work with yourself and work with your emotions. You are all tied together. And if it's the emotions that put the weight on, remember, high emotions, high stress, high anxiety is all going to bring up that cortisol. And cortisol is the storing hormone. So you're stressed, you eat, you're going to store way quicker than if you're happy and you eat. And so you have to switch that energy within yourself. So stay positive. Be that awareness where the emotions does not affect your physiological state, so you don't go back into that storing, where you can hold a space for yourself and then to shift it and keep going towards your goals and towards your, in this case, I'm going to say weight loss, your emotional freedom, the attachments that you have. So just wanted to bring this into awareness, kind of touching on how trauma, emotional trauma, really affects weight loss. As we already know, it's the weight gain, but we don't really think about it in the reverse of the weight loss. And kind of give you some insight of how plateaus work. So if this is you in this really delicate spot in your journey, be gentle with yourself. Kind of address what kind of plateau you're in. Feel free to ask me questions. I'm always here for you. And then how to work through that. Is it emotional that I have to work with? Is it the physical? Do I have to change up the diet? Am I changing up my supplements? Or if I'm having emotional triggers about something I don't feel I should, sit with it. Be with yourself. It's okay. All right, thank you so much. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear what you have to say about this, because as I mentioned, it's just something that I have gone through over and over again with some of my clients, and feel that it was really powerful to give to all of you. All right, till next time.
Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe to get more tips, tricks, and insights. Visit InnateMedicalNutrition.com for more resources and to learn about our programs, Break from Leaky Gut, Inflammation, and